Good morning and welcome in. Before we get into this morning's update, I'd like to touch base on what is happening so far across not just XRP, but with Bitcoin, with what pro XRP lawyers said about there's roughly a 55% chance now of the SEC to appeal. I believe he said just over 50%. So the odds of an appeal for the decision that Judge Annalisa Torres came in for the settlement details, there's about a 50 to 50, I think it said 55% chance that the SEC, at least in the pro XRP lawyer's opinion, that the SEC odds for an appeal have lowered to about 55% against Ripple. So we'll take a look at the finer details there. We'll take a look at the XRP technical analysis, as we've been pretty flat over the last, I'd say about 12 to 15 hours. Not much has been going on. We got all the way up to maybe 50, just shy of 58 cents yesterday, 57.80. Came back up here at 57.78. 57.70. And now if we look at this in the 30-minute time frame for XRP, I mean, this isn't even where we're not looking at 62.28 yet, because we haven't pushed over the resistance in front of us. First area we've got is this 58.52 cents. That's your first level where we could try to push out of here. We hit a resistance up there the first time, came back down, consolidated down to 55.63. But there has not been a stranglehold of volume. This has been an upward consolidation after 55.62, and it almost looks like it's just trying to get rid of some of this buying pressure here, so we could possibly have a further drop down. If we don't break 58.52, that's bearish, very bearish. We'll see, though. We'll see if we can get a little bit of momentum here on this Thursday. One last day here before we get into the weekend. Tomorrow will be the last day before a thinly traded weekend after 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. So we still got, another 2 days of trading. We're in pre-market right now for the stock market. So we've still got markets that are open. We've still got trading that's going on. But we've got a little bit of a dire situation here, because this very well could be a topping reversal, head and shoulders pattern. And if we don't come back over 58.5, that's going to solidify a reversal still. So we want to hold 55.6, and in time we want to start coming up over 58.5. And then we would like to start pushing up universally here over some of these higher levels. 58.5, then a big level is going to be to try to get through. It's the rising channel resistance and the cup and handle resistance meeting at the same spot at 62.28 now. So we're going to need to get over that in time if this is going to maintain a bullish positioning. Right now, because we are over the 2018 resistance and we use it as a support structure here twice, until this invalidates now, we technically have flipped that resistance into support, at least momentarily. And that could just be momentarily, obviously, if this were to have a breakdown again. But as long as we hold 55.6, that's a layer of support right now until it breaks back through. If it breaks back through, we've invalidated this further thesis to move up. And then we've got some underneath levels that become to open up. The nearest target here, if we were to break through, is like 54.2 cents. It's an expandable zone. I think it's 53.8 right now. But that's something that could hold if it comes through. But right now, this isn't setting up very pretty. We need to get over that 58.52. And we'll talk about this a little bit deeper. We'll talk about Bitcoin as it's up 2.1% on the day, up about 1,249 points to 60,284. So are we trying to attempt a reversal here going into the weekend in about a day and a half, 2 trading days? Or is this just a back test and this is just a dead cat bounce? That's what we're going to have to discuss here on this morning's update. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this update. Simply by hitting that like button and showing me that good gravado, YouTube will recommend my updates and my lives, and I'll pop up on the YouTube newsfeed. So whether you've seen my content or not, you can make an educated and informed decision whether or not to watch the content, and see if you want to embrace or embark on a journey with us this morning. So besides that, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll catch you on the other side of the intro. And we'll also take a look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index before we leave today. Good morning, 8:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, August 29th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. As we set up for another 1 billion XRP to be released from Ripple escrow, it seems to me what they're doing on a monthly basis is they release 1 billion from escrow at a higher price. The price drops. They relock up and buy back some of it for anywhere between a 3 to 10% savings, and they rinse and repeat by month. So basically what's happening is they're selling for profit, and they're buying back those same profits, the same tokens, except now it's at a cheaper price after the dump, and then they relock them back up. So if you're asking me, what it seems like to me is it's a way to manipulate the price, and Ripple's behind a lot of the retail pain. I'm not afraid to say it. A lot of people say, Tom, why do you hold XRP if you believe this with Ripple, that they're manipulators and that they are using retail to hemorrhage, or to hemorrhage retail so that they can make gains and continue to fund the Ripple project? Well, it's because I believe it's one of the easiest projects ever that we've been put in front of us to make money via leverage and spot trading, because it sits range bound for so long. When you've got an asset that sits almost 3 years sub $1 and it range bounds between 28 and 93 cents, but for the majority of the time it range bound between 38 and 55 or 60, that's the easy trades. Because that's why I always say when it goes, until it's sub 40 cents, there's really no reason to buy XRP. And that's just my personal belief. If you can hold off until sub 40, now there's always going to be that dip to sub 40 till there's not. That means if you miss the opportunity one too many times, you may just be shit out of luck. That doesn't mean it's any less true what I'm saying. If you buy over 40 cents, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get bent over and murdered. Price-wise. The price action's going to it's going to beat you down. So if you buy at 60, 70, 80, 90, you're pretty much, when it comes down to the support structures over the last 6.5 years, just by paying attention to the support structure, you're going to lose anywhere between 45 to 85%. Anything you buy. So even if you buy it at 60 cents, chances are you're probably going to lose 35, 40% in time as it comes down to the consolidatory moments. So everything I've tried to teach over the last 3.5, almost 4 years now, getting into March next year will be 4. I've been trying to show support resistance. I've been trying to show why you shouldn't buy XRP unless it's sub 40 cents. We've gotten a chance this year, again, not in the very near past, at 38 cents. So it proves that whole gravado true. You don't have to have FOMO. You don't have to have fear. What you need to have is a set plan. The one thing that I see in the XRP community, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. 9 times out of 10, the crypto streamer we're watching on YouTube or other social media is just telling us it's going up 10,000% to get cheap views so they can, keep their drug habit going. The rest of them are just trying to sell you sponsorships and all this other stuff. But nobody's actually telling you what's going on. They're going to tell you I'm not able to read technical analysis, so XRP is going up to $10,000 per token. XRP, I can't read technical analysis, so it's on the surge of about a 75,000% move here. It's all we ever see. Honestly, it becomes mind-numb to me. I stopped reading and watching anybody else who puts out XRP content now because of it. I can't read what other people say unless I go through the articles very finely, and then I find 1 or 2 maybe I can read. Other than that, it always ends up the same thing. It always ends up the same thing. And if you do a search on just on YouTube, all you'll see is XRP Moon, XRP to $10,000, XRP 5,000% move looming. It's always the same. What we never talk about is how to knock down the things in front of us. Oh, we've been in a pattern formation for over 6.5 years. What needs to be done to break this? Why would we be within a consolidatory range this entire time? What does this possibility present? But instead of seeing the presentation of what we could possibly see, what ends up happening universally is we say, we're going to go up to $600, then we're going to hit $1,500. It's going to be the world reserve currency. $10,000 a token isn't even enough. That's what ends up happening. But what we should be talking about, okay, well, right now in front of us, we back tested twice the 2018 resistance as support. This could be a possible moment in time when we're trying to flip resistance to support. A good step to go past would be to get past the FVG level that has already been fixed now, as we've talked about. There's a fair value gap. You could have used it right here at 57.97. It came back above it. So technically, let's just keep it there. Forget the 58.2 where it ran up. That was the FVG level. The fact it came right back down to 55.6 now and is pushing back up, this is one of two things. One, it's very bearish. It's very bearish. Even though it came to 55.6, it's got no upward momentum as far as volume's concerned. And I can say that. There's no volume coming in right now. And volume predicts price. If there's no volume coming in to predict, or for the price to move up, the likelihood is there's going to be a lot more sell volume that follows at some point here. Now, we're in a very dicey situation here, because if we can come past this very simple level here, we can start making some noise to the upward levels. If we don't, we're going to start to make some big noise to the downward levels. And the downward level right now is a technical target. If we lose 56.6 cents, it's speaking to a drop around 49.6. If we go to current times, sure, we can move it out here. And sure, the number's going to be just slightly different. Just slightly different. And that's how we continue to follow the pattern as we go. Well, I guess it's right the same. 49.68 right now if it comes through at this level. Otherwise, the other option is to come back up. We know the 62.2, and then above that is the 63.6. I mean, those are our options this morning. Either we're going to continue to break down, or we're going to finally push past some of these resistance level. We're going to get past the fair value gap level that we've already gapped back up. So we've already cleaned out that level. So if we're going to get hot, it's probably going to be today. Today leading into early tomorrow. If we're not going to get hot, this is all going to come crumbling down around noon. Noon, 1 o'clock, maybe 9:30 this morning when the Eastern Standard Time wakes up. 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. We always seem to see that translation. A little bit of move overnight, starts to come back down around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's been a correlation we've noticed. So that's as straightforward and honest as I can be with everybody. Yes, this community is mind-numbing. Not Tom's Army, not within our actual space here, but the XRP community as a whole is mind-numbing. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody seems to care about the principles. Nobody cares about what's going on behind the scenes. It all becomes one thing. When is it going to hit $10,000? Wonder why we're the laughing stock? We keep having that mindset. We're going to continue to be laughed out of the building. On the 1 hourly for Bitcoin, we still have this dot cross that we have not been able to invalidate. And you start to invalidate by getting over the 200 day. And that's at 61,180. 2 hour time frame. We could, like yesterday, we said we could come up to a rejection at 61,270 area. But unless we break that, this is a bearish moment. This is bearish movement. Not a lot of volume either. Much less buy pressure than sell pressure even on the way down. So do I think we're going to get hot here? I think, like I said yesterday, unless this proves me wrong, which I hope it does, I think there's a 71% chance we go lower. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the 30% plays out, which it can. A big part for XRP was coming up to that FVG level, coming back down and at least holding the support of the 2018 resistance as support for a second time, which it did. So that's a positive action. The bearish action right now is that there's not a lot of volume coming in to support this move. That's what's making this a bearish action. Let's get into the reading. Look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and then I will let you guys watch this as you please. And yeah, let's get through this. Pro XRP lawyer lowers odds for SEC appeal against Ripple to 55%. Pro XRP lawyer Bill Morgan has updated his assessment for the likelihood of an SEC appeal in the Ripple case. His reassessment follows closely on the heels of the ruling in the SEC's case against Kraken, where U.S. District Judge William H. Orrick III made a decision that might have significant implications for the SEC ongoing enforcement actions against the crypto industry. In that case, Judge Orrick sided with the SEC, reinforcing the application of the Howey test, the cornerstone of the U.S. securities law, and determines whether an asset qualifies as an investment contract. To digital assets, Morgan highlighted that Judge Orrick, in his ruling, explicitly supported the approach taken by Judge Annalisa Perez in the Ripple case and Judge Amy Berman Jackson in the SEC's case against Binance. Pro XRP lawyer lowers appeal odds to 55%. Morgan noted, I am increasingly less confident that the SEC will appeal the Ripple summary judgment decision if merely legal considerations are influencing the decision whether to appeal. I pointed out in a post yesterday that Judge Orrick in the Kraken case preferred the approach of Judge Jackson in the Binance case and Judge Perez in the Ripple case that distinguishes between primary and secondary market transactions. The commentary underscores a potential shift in the judicial understanding of crypto transactions. particularly how they are interpreted under the Howey test criteria for investment contracts. The third prong of the Howey test, whether an investment is made with an expectation of profits predominantly from the efforts of others, is crucial in these considerations. He noted that the favorable comments about aspects of Judge Therez's reasoning in the Ripple summary judgment decision by Judge Ulrich and Jackson should ensure doubts about the correctness of her decision raised by some critics such as Charles Gasparino. The last person I would listen to is Charles Gasparino. Morgan also highlights Judge Ulrich's commentary. Judge Ulrich points out that Judge Therez's decision was carefully constrained to the facts of the case and predicted on findings from a fully developed record, and was consistent in approach with the Ninth Circuit holdings in the HOTCOIN case. This suggests a judicial examination tailored to the specifics of Ripple case, potentially limiting the broader applicability of the decision to the broader crypto industry and thereby influencing the SEC's potential decision to not appeal. The pro XRP lawyer concluded, what is more important to me is that if there is no obvious legal error, and the SEC can easily distinguish the Ripple case because it is narrowly confined to its own facts, why appeal it at all? Unless, of course, there are non-legal considerations influencing the decision to appeal. Community engagement on Morgan's X post reveals a mixed reaction. When users Spersoni expressed confusion over Morgan's assessment, Morgan clarified his stance. I was 80 to 20% for an appeal, now down to 55-45 for an appeal. Further, in response to another user's comment on the SEC's silence about the Ripple ruling, Morgan speculated the SEC may not have yet made up its mind either way. Another user questioned whether the SEC could delay its decision until after the upcoming U.S. elections, to which Morgan responded definitely no. There's a 60-day deadline starting on what the final orders were made. At press time, XRP traded at 57.48 cents. And now let's look into the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. As right now we are sitting at Fear at 29. Yesterday we were at Fear 30. Last week we were at Fear 39. Last month we were at Greed 67. We got all the way up to 74 last month. So as far as the Crypto Greed and Fear and Greed Index, we're still in fear, even though we've had a little bit of a move up. So will that lead to some kind of movement here? Or are we going to end up into extreme fear? I tend to say we're probably going to end up towards extreme fear, but you never know. We could light it up here this morning. We could absolutely light it up this morning. We have no clue. We have no clue. I'm very suspect about gold and silver. I still feel like there's going to be a correction. B2 Gold, if you paid attention yesterday, it gave you the out if you wanted it. It came down to 275. I tried talking about this in the live for anybody who had bought this if they didn't want to hold serve. It came down to $2.75 last night. Or yesterday during the live. Actually, it was yesterday morning when I did the live. And then I said if you wanted to get rid of it, you could simply wait for it to come back up near $2.80, $2.78. And now you can make a decision. Make a decision. You're up plenty. You bought at $2.42. If you don't want to hold it, even this morning when it opens, you're going to be up about 36 cents a share. So you're going to have to make an informed decision. Gold right now is at 2,504. I really feel like it's going to have a breakdown here. I can't help that feeling. I thought it was going to come to this uptrending support at 2,495. We talked yesterday and said unless it gets above 2,526 on that push up and holds it and then starts pushing 2,600 plus to invalidate this, we would have to come down and at least retest this support structure. At least that's what I'm seeing. 2,491. If that breaks, then we already know we have a technical drop down to about 2,414. So that's where I sit this morning in the analysis. We talked yesterday as well about the US dollar. I thought it was going to go up. I put a technical move up that I thought at minimum it would come up to at 102.18. There's a gap up there that needs to be filled in my opinion. And then if it's bearish, it'll come farther down. But this gives negative price action to gold. This should give negative price action to silver, not because the prices of the precious metals are going down, but because the US dollar is being overinflated and it makes it look like it's on discount. Because it's going to cost less of those US dollars to buy that ounce of gold and silver, it artificially suppresses the price. Then because the overall prices artificially suppressed from gold and silver, commodities start coming down. So I hope everybody paid very close attention to all the plans that I set in place. You were able to make some easy money. And now it's that time of volatility. So we're going to have to sit. We're going to have to watch. And we're going to have to see exactly how this plays out. Make sure to hit that like button, and if you made it until the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments.